Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at Mystic ScROLLS. This is by DrawLab Entertainment and designed by Stelios, Kourtis, and Evangelos, Foskolos. And this is a dice rolling game where everything is done simultaneously. All players are rolling their dice simultaneously, and they're all trying to refill their hands of dice from the same dice pool. And once somebody can't refill their hand of dice back up to 5 after having cast one of their spells, they must at some point say stop, which ends that dice rolling phase, and then spells are fired off, healing spells are thrown around, and attacking spells are thrown around, and everybody does damage. And this continues until one mage is left standing, the sole possessor of all of the great knowledge of the Mystic ScROLLS. And so let's get down to the table. I'll show you how your particular turn will take place, and then we'll get to some final thoughts in just a few moments. And so here I have set up for you a 4-player game of Mystic ScROLLS. You have your dice pool in the middle, and then you have your community spell that everybody can try to get and make part of their own tableau. Each player has their own starting tableau of spells as well as their own set of dice to begin the round with. A game of Mystic ScROLLS begins by each player choosing a mage that they will play during the course of the game. That mage has his own card that will be used for counting the life that they are going to be losing and healing over the course of the game. They also have 3 different spell cards that they start with that has 5 different spells on them. They also are able to take 5 of the spell dice into their hand. Once everyone is ready to begin the round, one player will count down 1, 3, 2, 1, go. And at that point, everybody will start taking and rolling their dice and setting some apart to use on their spell cards. Once you have a die that is able to be placed for the full requirement of that spell, then that die can be replaced and continue to being rolled. But you can hold these in reserve and continue rolling if you wish. But as soon as you assign one of those dice, you can take one from the pool and continue rolling. So these are not good for me, so I'm going to continue rolling here, continue going here. Okay, I've got 2 here. I'm going to place those there and grab 2 more. We'll continue going like this. If at any point you are able to finish a spell, and in order to replenish your hand, you have to draw 3 out. If you don't have enough here to take your pool back up to 5, then at that point you can at any moment say stop, and everybody has to stop rolling their dice. Now that first phase was called the running phase, where you and the other mages are running around trying to gather the resources and cast the spells that they're going to use in the casting phase, which is what we're going to show right now. In the casting phase, you have 2 different parts. You have a part where you heal first, and then you attack. So all healing spells are going to be fired off first. So in Albus's case here, he is a character that's built largely around random luck. And so his healing spell here is going to require him to roll this die. And whatever die he has is going to determine the effect or the power of his spell. Now, he does have this other spell here that adds 1 to all of these rolls. So that's actually a 5, but 4 through 6 gives him 3 points of health back. So he would count back to 3, so that counts him up to 38. Consequently, if you ever heal enough to take you over 40, you just stay at 40. You can't get any stronger than that. So during the healing phase, this spell would have fired off, and now he is going to wait until the attack phase to fire off the rest of his spells. Now in the attack phase, it's pretty nasty. First of all, he's going to do 1 plus that much damage for the summoning hat. So remember, he gets a +1 to all die rolls. He rolls this. So he does 1 plus 5 damage. So that's 6 damage to the person to his right every single time that hits. Then he's also going to fire off this one over here, which means he rolls, again, getting the +1 to the die roll. So that is a 4. So he does 3 more damage to that person to his right. And then this one, last one right here, he has to roll again, getting that +1, which is still just a 2, but still, that's 3 damage. So as you can see, if Albus rolls really well, he's going to be doing a lot of damage during the turn, but he's not healing a whole lot either. So he does have a little bit of a weakness. After everybody has done healed and attacked, we would reset with all of the different players taking 5 dice and all other dice going back to the pool and starting another round. Now, during the running phase, I do want to mention one other thing because it's pretty big. There is always another spell available to the mages if they want to go after it. And once a mage claims this scroll, it becomes part of their tableau and they can cast it again on future rounds. These scrolls are attained much in the same way that the other scrolls in their starting tableaus are gained by simply rolling the correct number of dice faces that spell requires. So if at any point in time a mage would roll the required amount for that spell, then they would immediately say stop. Once one of these is claimed, the running phase ends immediately, and that becomes one of the spells that they can choose to fire off on their turn. When you claim the spell, you must put out the dice that are required for all of these, including these 2 darkened ones. But once the spell is in your tableau, after you have claimed it, these are the only ones that are necessary to fire it off. This is only for claiming it, and that's generally how the game of Mystic Scrolls is played, with each player simultaneously rolling their dice during the running phase, trying to cast as many spells as possible. Once someone has stopped the running phase by not having enough dice to draw back from the pool, or by choosing this community spell as their own, then the casting phase begins, where players can heal damage and attack the player to their right. And that is how the game continues until one player is left standing. And the rulebook claims at the end of that round, that player who is the last one standing is the winner and only possessor of all the wondrous knowledge of the Mystic Scrolls. So that's how the game plays. Let's get to my final thoughts. So that's that for Mystic Scrolls. I have to say I was pleasantly surprised with how this game played out. The theme of the game didn't really reach out to me. I really don't care about being a mage, casting spells and all of this other kind of stuff. Even when I played D&D a lot, I was never a mage. I was always the barbarian, or, the thief, or the rogue, or the ranger, or something like that. I just never really had a desire to be a magician casting spells. So the theme was neither here nor there for me. But I have to say the gameplay won me over. So let's go ahead and get to some pros and cons. First of all, some pros of the game. Component quality is great in this game. I like the fact that all of the spell cards are larger than your regular card size. It makes the print on them able to be printed larger, which makes it easier to read. Less guesswork is involved holding the card up to your face to read all that small print. Non-existent, so that's great. The actual dice here are very nice dice. They are a little bit more angular than I would like, but each of the different faces is colored and they're etched into the side of the die. I really like it when games have custom dice, and I like it even more when the custom dice are well-made custom dice. So there is that. That's a definite pro for me. Now, I usually don't like speed/action/dexterity type games because I don't act that fast. And my brain just doesn't go at that speed more often than not. So I'm usually not one to like that kind of game. But I have to say that in this game, it just felt natural, if I could use that word. It didn't feel like it was a gimmick that was just kind of tacked on. Another pro of the game is the artwork, which is very well done. You have cards that are just very well illustrated, and they are thematic representations. I really like this guy's character and his artwork. He just looks kind of strange, but at the same time, Celestina over here looks like this little girl, but she's going to be doing you a lot of damage if you underestimate her. So the different spell cards that you're showing here, they just have great artwork as well. So as you can see, when I say artwork, I mean there's a lot of artwork in this, and it all looks really, really good. Another pro of the game is the fact that there are variable player powers here. Each one of these different mages plays differently than the other. You have, let's see, Alanoro, which is very big on just a lot of damage. You have Paravel, which does some damage, but he also has a lot of healing. Albus is just kind of a random dude, man. He rolls those dice on the spells that he's going, and could be very strong, could be very light. So you gotta have to kind of weigh that into what spells you're wanting to throw in there. And then Celestina, she's just that wild card, man. She looks nice and peaceful, but she can really pack a punch as well. So I really like the fact that each one of these plays differently, and I just love games that give you that ability to be different than everybody else, but still it's balanced. Now, as far as cons are concerned for the game, there aren't a whole lot of them. I mean, I really did enjoy the game. This likely isn't one of the ones that I'm always going to be coming back to, but if somebody wants to play a fast dice roller game, this is probably going to be high up on my list. I really don't have very many cons. The only thing is that I wish, okay, I guess I can say this. Where is it? There it is. The rule book. It's way over there. I'm not going to stand up and get it. But the rule book could have been worded a little bit more specifically. There were some things where me and the players had to kind of hive mind an interpretation of what the rules were telling us to do for specifically one thing. So, for example, with spell power, like for example here, Paravel's Nature's Wrath does 3 damage, and then it heals you 1 for every spell power that you have. Well, is that meaning this spell power on this specific spell, or is it all the spells that you're firing and you add up all of those different things and that's how much you heal? That's not addressed in the rulebook anywhere. You just have this nebulous statement that says if you have the slash with the spell power symbol, then it's whatever it says for however much your spell power is. Okay, well, we just kind of intuitively, I guess, said that, well, that equals how many spells you're casting and the power of those spells. I don't know if that's right though, but that's just the way it is. I do like this game a lot, and really the rulebook con is so light. I really don't care if it comes back that it has to be this specific spell power. Fine, that's great. Don't care at all. I really still enjoy the game. So, with all that having been said, I'm going to give Mystic Scrolls very high praise here. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because I really did enjoy the game. It has everything that a game that I'm looking for in it. It has great artwork, it has great components, it has fun, and for the most part, intuitive gameplay. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It plays fast, and you are engaged. Even for a player elimination game, you're still engaged throughout the entire course of it. Once someone gets eliminated, it is such a short game that it doesn't really matter. Longer games, player elimination is taboo. Shorter games, it's acceptable in my opinion because the person's not sitting around for the next hour and a half waiting for something to do. They're waiting around for the next 15 to 20 minutes. If even that long before they have something else to do. So all in all, 8 out of 10 for me. I really did enjoy my playing of Mystic Scrolls, and I hope you guys have the ability to try it out and enjoy it as well. So that's it from me. 8 out of 10 for Mystic Scrolls. We'll see you guys on the flip side.